This is usually the part where I ask everybody to take their seats, but it looks like you guys have already done that for me. So thank you very much, making my job a lot easier. Are you ready? Okay, we're good to go. Welcome, each and every one of you, to the 5th edition of the Monaco Ocean Protection Challenge, both online and on site. Today is June 8th. It's World Ocean Day. So what better day to end this edition or to have this edition of the Monaco Ocean Protection Challenge than today? So happy World Ocean Day to all of you in here in person and online. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We'd like to thank our past and present jury members right here, as well as all the participants who came from around the world, whether they're in site or online. And for the wonderful team who put all of this together. They're around here somewhere. You could see them scrambling around. Building an event of the scale of the MOPC is always a very difficult challenge. So we hope that each of you are as excited as we are, and we hope that we can prove to you that the projects that we have today are indeed the projects that are going to be changing the course of the world from now on. So to begin, we would like to welcome to the stage Mr. Cyril Gomez, the Chief Operating Officer of the Oceanographic Institute and the Prince Albert I of Monaco Foundation, who will come and say a few words. So Mr. Gomez, please.
Good afternoon and happy Ocean Day to all of you. Thank you, Matthew. Mr. Olivier Vandel, Vice President and CEO of the Prince Albert II of Monaco Foundation, Mr. Jean-Philippe Muller, General Director and Dean of the International University of Monaco, Mr. Peter Kutman, President and founder of the Association Monaco Impact, members of the jury, representatives of the sponsors, candidates, dear friends. Welcome to the 5th Monaco Ocean Protection Challenge. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the Oceanographic Museum. I hope you had the opportunity to discover our new Polar Mission exhibition, which has just opened to the public. Welcome also to everyone who is following us online. Thank you to everyone for being here today, 8 June on World Oceans Day. Our presence today reflects our common concern, raising awareness of the global ocean threats by encouraging young people's creativity and commitment to protect our planet. Human activities have an impact on the ocean, but if we act thoughtfully, we can change them into solutions for a healthy and resilient ocean. We can contribute to tangible results in reducing greenhouse gas emission or pollution, promoting sustainable use of natural resources, and protecting biodiversity. These were the principles underlying the jury's selection of the finalists for today's event. It was difficult for the jury to choose between so many candidates worldwide participating in the competition with their original and practical ideas. Here are some concrete examples of students' proposals. A new concept for an environmentally friendly anchor, eco-responsible surfboards, and an innovative approach to restoring the coral reef of the coast of La Réunion Island. Let's also mention startups that put forward proposals for a new type of aquaculture of prawns, breakwaters to protect and restore coastal areas, or incorporating seaweed into new materials to create items and accessories. The ocean needs everyone's goodwill, whether we live close to the coast or inland. In fact, everyone is a source of solution in their own way. The MOPC challenge is the perfect illustration of this idea. Last year, the Prince Albert II Foundation joined the founder members, the International University of Monaco, the Oceanographic Institute, and Monaco Impact in this initiative. All four together, we will take the opportunity of this grand final today to sign a new agreement that will create the right conditions for the development of our initiative. I hope this development will also strengthen the relationship with business leaders. Economic actors need expertise from scientists, lawyers, and specialists in socioeconomics. They also need talented young people like you to be more effective in their ecological and energetical transition, or to develop new areas of activity. As I said before, one of the objectives of this initiative is to raise awareness of environmental topics and protect the ocean among the younger generations. But it is also aimed to create synergies and share experience or knowledge between institutions, economic leaders, and the academic world. That's why we will support the winners in advancing the project by providing advice and opportunities for contact with relevant partners. Thank you again on behalf of the MOPC's partner for joining us and for your contribution. Thank you.
Again, a big thank you to Mr. Cyril Gomez. Beautiful speech. And thank you again for this absolutely lovely venue that we get to be in today. So to begin, I would like to just first explain to you what the MOPC is for those of you who may not be familiar. The MOPC is a challenge for the preservation of the oceans that was created in 2018 and has been an international challenge since the year 2020. It's organized by the 4 partnering institutions of the Prince Albert II Foundation of Monaco, the Oceanographic Institute of Monaco, the Prince Albert and the Prince Albert I of Monaco Foundation, as well as the University of Monaco and Monaco Impact. And it is the concrete outcome of what we like to refer to as a common vision, which is the necessity to raise awareness on threats to our ocean by fostering young people's entrepreneurial spirit, creativity, and enthusiastic commitment to protect our planet. The MOPC is sponsored by environmental experts and associations, together with entrepreneurs and investors who share the same vision. The challenge contributes to the global outreach and soft power of the Principality of Monaco in the field of ocean protection. In this 5th edition of the competition, we have more than 100 participants who are registered, representing more than 10 universities across the world on more than 30 different nationalities. So a big thank you to each and every one of you who has submitted, and a big congratulations to each and every one of you who has come here with their projects today. We are also pleased to announce that the Monaco Ocean Protection Challenge has joined the 1000 Ocean Startups Project, a coalition that is aimed at accelerating ocean impact innovation. The coalition brings together the global ecosystem of incubators, accelerators, competitions, matching platforms, and VCs supporting startup for ocean impact. Their objective is to scale at least 1,000 transformative startups by the end of the ocean decade to restore ocean health and reach the social development goal set by the United Nations, goal number 14. The Monaco Ocean Protection Challenge is very, very proudly sponsored by the Amis du Musée Oceanographic, headed by Miss Leila Elling, who may or may not be in the room, but if she is, hello, Miss Elling, thank you so much. The Ocean Innovators Platform, Monaco Impact, the Monaco Ocean Week, Nansen Polar Expeditions, and White Castle Partners. And for their fantastic and essential contribution, a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of our jury members who assisted in the selection of the 6 finalist teams that are here with us today is in order. So thank you very much to each and every one of you. So then please allow me to introduce you to our final jury, which is present here today in the room with us. The president of the jury is Miss Anne-Sophie Roux, the founder of Tanaka. Thank you so much. Mr. Thomas de Villoncourt, the director of the Pure Ocean Fund. Thank you very much for being here. Mr. Lionel Godfrey, the director of Monaco Tech. Thank you again. Mr. Christian Lim, the co-managing director of Swen Blue Ocean. Thank you. Ms. Camille Lopez, president and founder of High Plug, and also the 2021 MOPC winner in category 1. Thank you very much, Camille, and congratulations. And finally, Mr. Ronald Tardif, a specialist at the Ocean Innovation and World Economic Forum. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for your immense involvement, all the time and effort that you have dedicated to the MOPC. This would not be able to happen without you. And we would not be able to create the future of our oceans without each and every one of you. So with that being said, actually, we have our chauffeurs in the back who are giving us a round of applause. So can we get a bigger round of applause for our jury members? Thank you so much to each and every one of you. Okay, and with that being said, we are going to go right into the meat and potatoes of this competition, which is the actual presentations. So we're going to begin with category number 1 of our presentations, which is students. That consists of a 5-minute presentation for each team, as well as a 5-minute Q&A session. And we are going to begin with our first team, who will be Deep Dive. Our second team will be Pogi Surf, and our third team will be Reef Family, again, in that order. They will have 5 minutes to pitch their project, again, followed by that 5-minute Q&A session. So let's begin with our first team, Deep Dive, from the Hankook Academy of Foreign Studies in South Korea, who is online with us today. And might I add, it's 10 o'clock for her right now. So can you share your presentation with us, Deep Dive? And also, can you hear me? Hopefully.
Yep, you're audible, and I will try sharing my project right now.
Thank you so much. And once you share your presentation, we will leave the floor to you to begin your presentation by yourself.
Actually, I've started sharing my content. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see this. Actually,
I don't think my presentation is up right now. Oh, thanks.
can you share your screen with us again? It appears that we don't have it at the moment. And thank you to the audience for bearing with us. We know that these technical issues can be a bit of dead silence. So with that being said, Deep Dive, we leave the floor to you to begin your presentation whenever you would like.
This is Jung In Shin, a high school student from South Korea. I'm introducing you today to poi. Pieces of styrofoam floating on the ocean and the sea forests turning white due to deaths of sea kelps. This is the ocean we have made. Buoys are essential for aquaculture because algae, seaweed, and clams are grown on ropes attached to buoys. However, buoys generate styrofoam fragments and microplastic as the material is extremely weak and prone to erosion. Marine organisms are intoxicated and die off due to fragments because they feel full while these fragments fill their organs. To make problems worse, sharp anchors connected to buoys damage the ocean floor. However, as buoys are crucial for aquaculture, banning buoy usage altogether is impossible. More than 55 million buoys are used per year for aquaculture in the East Sea alone. Also, sea deforestation is accelerating. Rock blanching and subsequent destruction of such forests are prevalent, and more than 67% of the sea is being deforested solely in the case of Jeju Island in South Korea. This means the loss of safe havens for numerous fish, mammals, invertebrates, and seaweeds that live in sea forests, and the decrease of the sea's capacity to capture CO2. Poi is the exact solution to these problems. Poi is an environmentally friendly buoy that provides home for sea kelps via combining buoy with artificial reef structure that can cultivate sea kelps. It is composed of 2 parts, 1, the buoy, and 2, the artificial reef. The buoy is constructed in a spear structure using alginate coatings to prevent erosion and carries a ballast tank filled with used PET bottles. The artificial reef is made by steel slabs that are high in calcium and iron and is in the shape of a munder sponge, which maximizes surface area and thus the space for kelp cultivation. The buoy and artificial reef are connected. Poi forms an underwater habitat for kelps, taking advantage of buoy structures while also allowing for a more stable form of buoy by the weight of artificial reefs. The novel material of the buoy prevents marine debris, thus the intake of styrofoam pieces by marine organisms. Also, the reuse of slacks and PET bottles decrease the impact of humans in the marine environments that would accumulate. The artificial reef fosters the formation of sea forests and thus contributes to prevention of ocean acidification and formation of habitats for marine organisms. It also gives business owners an additional source of aquaculture. POI increases the lifespan of buoys, efficiency of aquaculture, and the net harvested organisms. Thus, it provides economic incentive for aquaculture business owners to demand POIs. Furthermore, as transitions into environmentally friendly buoys is a rising government task for the marine industry sector, governments would also be looking for solutions. POIs would also target the steel companies in waste treatment facilities that need removal of leftover slag and PET bottles at a cheap price, meaning that partnerships with these companies are also possible. Thus, POI is able to capture the aquaculture industry, governments, and steel companies, and can expect expansions via cooperation with environmental movement organizations. The global buoy market is growing at an astonishing rate of 5.5%, largely due to the rising demand for aquaculture. The global aquaculture production has seen a 527% rise from the year 1990 to 2018, and global fish consumption has increased 122%. The ongoing trend will likely increase deployments of buoys in the industry. One POI costs $40, a reasonable price compared to other buoys thanks to POI's utilization of recycled materials that cuts the price of production. We break even after 5 months. Through this positioning chart, we can see that POI is comparatively low price while providing the highest net environmental benefits. We aim to promote our product by 3 distinct strategies. The first strategy would be the Adopt a Kelp campaign. People are encouraged to adopt kelps via POI website, and donors will receive small kelp keyrings made via upcycled PET bottles and lids, and POIs of the same quantity will be donated to associate aquaculture businesses so that kelps can be grown on POIs. The second strategy would be the Pet a Pet campaign. The public will be asked to donate clean PET bottles to the regional recycling center associated with POI and will receive rewards if they donate more than a certain amount of PET bottles. The third strategy is the contract with aquaculture businesses. By forming agreements regarding the period and quantity of supply, the team will be able to guarantee sales and stabilize profits, thus creating a lock-in effect. Also, by offering periodic maintenance programs later in the business, the businesses that started using POIs would likely remain with POI services. POI aims to create a sustainable ocean powered by reuse. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Team Deep Dive. And with that said, we will be moving straight into our 5-minute Q&A session with our judges. Judges, whenever you are ready with your questions, you may begin. There are 2 microphones on the table for you to work with. So if you need any more, please let me know. But we will begin our 5-minute timing as soon as the first question is asked.
All right. Hello. Could you precise when you talk about where citizens can donate PET? How do you manage this? It's not it's a detail on the project, but I would like to understand.
Oh, so the campaign, the Pet a PET campaign would be implemented using regional centers. So the POI, the project POI would have 2 regional centers, one in Gyeonggi, which is a place I'm living in, and second Seoul, which is a urban place that has a lot of quantity of PET bottles being disposed of. So utilizing 2 regional centers, both in Gyeonggi and in Seoul in South Korea, we aim to collect PET bottles that citizens dispose of after reuse. So most of the PET bottles that are disposed of actually go into waste treatment facilities, but are really mixed up and are not really utilized properly because they're mixed up with other contaminated garbages. But the PET bottles enable the poi to be are used for the ballast tanks for pois. So we believe that the usage of PET bottles, like from the direct donations from citizens, would first of all increase the involvement of citizens to pois, therefore creating the increase of awareness in the citizens, and second of all would create effective methods of generating the initial resources that poi needs.
Hi, thank you. Do you know if it works, the anchoring part of the apparatus? And how do you know it works better than a typical anchor?
Actually, I'm still in the process of developing the prototype, and even though I do not really know how this if this effectively works in the sea, I've tried using it using a tank that models the sea, the size of the buoy and size of the artificial reef, and because the artificial reef is heavy enough to hold the buoy, I believe that the apparatus works fairly effectively, as much as the anchor does.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I'd be interested in understanding the size of the problem better. So one part of the problem you've mentioned is the use, if I understand correctly, of polystyrene for styrofoam for to make buoys. And I'm actually unsure to what extent polystyrene is still used to make buoys. I think most of the buoys I've seen are actually made from a hard, from hard plastic. So do you have a sense? Is it the one problem you're addressing, or the problem with pollution from buoys in general that you're trying to address? And to what extent? I don't know if it's a share of the market or number of buoys polystyrene is being used.
So to clarify your question, did you ask about, first of all, is polystyrene used in buoys, and second of all, how big is the product? Am I right?
Yes. So, how many buoys? What percentage of buoys are being made with the polystyrene? That's the first question. And the second one, are you looking to address only the issue of polystyrene-made buoys, or a broader problem with the material of buoys?
So regarding the first question, I believe that many of the developed countries utilize polystyrene, utilize other materials that aims to I'm sorry. I believe that most of the developing countries according to my research, more than 80% of the buoys were produced using styrofoam, and as I'm aware of, most of the buoys in South Korea are produced using styrofoam buoys. That's why the problems of styrofoam fragments that falls off of the buoys is so significant in the status quo. And regarding the second question, the deep dive aims to create a bigger impact by utilizing additional materials that can block the erosion, which is applying additional UV blocking material. Since ultraviolet rays actually can contribute to so much of the erosion processes. If that process can be hindered by these UV blocking materials, other than utilizing the polyethylene and also the alginate coatings, we believe that a bigger impact for a bigger customer pool could be generated.
Okay, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for questions now. Team Deep Dive, thank you so much. To the judges for your questions, thank you all so much. And a nice big round of applause for her, please. Thank you. Beautiful. So with that being said, we will be moving straight into our second team, Pogi Surf from E-Team Central Lille and ICAM, both in France. Gentlemen, please come up to the stage to give your presentation with this beautiful looking board. I'm very excited to hear about.
Hello, everyone. We are Paul and Guillaume. We are going to present you our project, Pogi Surf. First, I have a question for you. Who already surfed in his life? Okay, nice. Sorry to disappoint you, but the board you used, it's a complete disaster for the environment. It's a block of wood manufactured in Asia with an average lifespan of only 2 years. In addition to that, the board are not recycled at all. On an environmental point of view, it's difficult to make it worse. That's why we want to produce a next generation beginners board product locally product and eco-responsible.
In addition to that, the surf market, and particularly the surf foam board market, is a non-stop growing market. In fact, there are around 2 million of foam boards sold every year around the world, but there is still only one way to produce those boards, and that's a big problem for the main clients, the surf schools. So the objective of the surf school is to rent as many boards as possible during the whole season, so summer, and at the best price. With the current way of working, they have a big problem to supply themselves with those boats because they face the crisis everyone faces when we want to import product from Asia since a few years. In addition to that, because of the 8-month delay to import those products, they have no possibility to adapt during the season. And finally, as we said, as there is only one way to produce those boards, they don't have the choice but to buy those very bad boards, and they have no other option.
We want to make a foam board that will answer both environmental and soft school issue. For this, we are working on a board with a new core. The current core is very water sensitive. It's the reason of 98% of unusable foam board. We want to make a waterproof core from wood and recycled plastic, as you can see there on our prototype. In addition to that, we will produce this board locally.
So our board will cost more than the current board, so we'll have to think on a new business model. The 3 key of this business model will be first to keep the current annual cost price of a board that is around 200 euros for the surf schools. Second, we want to encourage surf school to keep the boards as much as they can. And finally, we will need to have a cost-effective model because we can do a perfect board. If we cannot sell it, it's useless. So what we will do at the beginning to prove to surf school that our board is profitable for them, we will make them pay in 3 years, so 200 € per year. And after those 3 years, they will own the board. So after the those 3 years, they will have to keep the board as much as they can to make it profitable. So after the first year, this will also allow Surf School to have faith in our board, and we will be able after to come back to a classic business model and sell directly the board at all price to the surf schools.
For this, we have a perfect team. 2 friends, both passionate about surf and the ocean. Paul worked few years in a surf school, and I'm lifeguard since 5 years. But also 2 complementary friends in engineering, both in engineering school. Paul with business part, and I with conception and industrialization specialization.
So what are the different steps of this project? So as you can see there, we already made the first prototype, the small scale prototype. And the objective for this summer is to produce the first 3 boards to test the boards in our partner surf schools. And this will allow us to have feedback on those boards, and this will allow us to produce next year the first 100 boards. The final objective is to export a global concept that will allow countries that are currently developing their tourism thanks to surf to produce themselves local boards and eco-responsible board. But the other objective, as we know that our project won't change the world alone, is also to create a community around Pogi Surf to encourage people to act for a better world. So thank you for listening. If you have any question, don't hesitate. And if you want also to support our project, we are currently launching a crowdfunding campaign. So if you want to support us, don't hesitate to participate or to share the project. Thanks to everyone.
Our prototype. It's a word plastic recycled.
And we're going to begin our 5-minute Q&A in just a moment. We are just presenting the prototype board to the judges at the moment, which looks really cool. Congratulations, gentlemen. Very well done. And it looks like we're just about done. So I will pass the mic back off. The judges will now have the opportunity to ask any questions they'd like. The timer will start when the first question is asked.
So I have a question. Do you have now partnerships with sports ambassadors who are interested to use your product?
We don't have directly partnership with a sports ambassador. We have partnership with surf schools and surf shops that are renting boats. Because for the moment we don't have a board, so we didn't contact sports ambassadors. But this is something that we want to do, even if this product is not the product they use every day, because it's a product for beginners. But we know that this is something that can interest them to promote this product because of its eco-responsible side. And we just have one local surfer from Anglet, that is a young surfer that contacts us to make the promotion on social media of this of the project.
I do have a question following your answer. You mentioned the beginner aspect of the surfboard. Is there any technical issues or regulation, whatever, explaining why you're focusing on beginner level? Or maybe you can implement it to an expert level, and it's joining his question for like sports professional in this industry.
Yeah, in fact, there are some solution to make eco-responsible surfboard for performance boards, but nobody was working on the problem of surfboard and beginner boards. So that's why we wanted to kind of adapt what small company are doing for the performance board and adapt this to beginner boards that have the very big advantage that they don't need a lot of they don't need to be performant. So that's very cool that's better for us and easier for us to make those boards.
Could you please be a bit more, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you please be a bit more specific on what the problem is from existing boards? Is it that, you know, the foam is breaking apart and going into the ocean? Is it that it's being discarded as a whole and into, you know, somewhere into the ocean when it's it reaches the end of life? And how this is addressing, you know, the specific issues of existing boards?
The problem nowadays is first that every board is made in Asia, and after they are used in Australia, United States, and Europe mainly. The second problem is the low life expectancy, that is around 2 years in a surf school. So 2 years means 2 seasons, so it's like 1 year in total of utilization. And the last problem is the end of life, because it's more or less nowadays just a block of oil, and there's no part of the board that is reused or recycled, and it's all discarded.
How much does it cost to make one of these boards? Cost you to make one of these boards?
That's the point that we're currently working on. We don't have a price. We don't have an exact price because it's hard for us nowadays to know exactly how we will do the board at large scale, how much will the raw material will cost us at large scale, but we think that it will cost us around 400 euros.
So I think it's great that you're really niching down on a specific target and really understanding the needs of surf schools, but you may want to think about your cash flow that you're going to have coming in. So, and how you plan to mitigate that when you have a $400 unit cost, but then you're only getting 200 per year.
Yeah, that's why we want to use this model for only the first years when we won't have a lot of boards. So it will be possible for us to manage that. And then as surf school, we'll know that our board is working and is profitable. We will then be able, when we'll have more volume, to come back on a classic model.
Okay, that's all we have for time for questions today. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you to our jury, and a nice round of applause. Thank you very much, everybody. Congratulations. Beautiful. Thank you once again. And with that being said, we will be moving straight into our third team of the day, which is Reef Family from La Fabrique and Soup de Pub from La Réunion, which is, for those of you who are not familiar, is a tiny little French island off the coast of Madagascar. So Team Reef Family, I ask you to the stage, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ulrich, the founder of Reef Family. I've traveled more than 10,000 kilometers to be with you today to tell you about the state of health of the coral on my island. And I'm very happy to be there. At Reef Family, we have developed solutions to enable citizens to take action against the total disappearance of coral reef by granting a connection and a unique emotional experience. By 2050, we will witness the mass extinction of corals around the world. Global warming is one of the main culprits of this ecological disaster. We speak today of coral pressure or coral bleaching, which are the two causes of this ecological disaster. Réunion is not spared. In addition to the climatic factor, the decline of corals is also due to human activities, pollution, illegal harvesting, fishing, nautical activities at low tide, ignorance of the lagoon. So we propose to create a program to safeguard and rehabilitate the Réunionnais Marine Park, applicable in a second time to all the French overseas territories confronted with this same problem, coral pressure. This project aims to be innovative with a positive impact around two objectives: training and rehabilitation of corals. To adopt a coral, it's imperative to follow one of these three courses. Once the coral has been adopted, you can give it a name and follow its evolution until it leaves for the ocean. Finally, we also offer other services, coral farm and scuba diving, for example. We will not stop global warming on our scale. However, by betting on super corals, we think we can save these super resistant species. Our solution is aimed at all age groups, at all citizens in general who seek to act for the good of the environment and their island. We want to adapt and deliver specific content according to the customer needs. It's for this reason that in terms of commercial strategy, we're gonna focus on communities, especially the children with a program adapted. Finally, we want to target the public and private companies interested in CSR strategy with the possibility to adopt a reef. Today, we work with partners specializing in marine biodiversity. They provide us with advice, analysis, and guidance. We also have the support of municipality of Saint-Pierre de la Réunion. So far, we have found location, observation area, etc. We haven't any direct competitors in this market, apart from a few associations other than the Marine Reserve, which offers some awareness region action. However, we have identified two indirect designs, Coral Guardian and Bubbles and More, which offer the same simplified concept of adoption a coral. However, we have not noted any action at the local level. We have the best people to carry out this project with different but complementary profiles. This year, we want to take 1,000 adoption. In 2055, we want to replant 40,000 coral in the ocean. And we find stability in 2026. And we want to rehabilitate the 9 lagoon in Réunion Island. We will have fairly substantial expenses and a low turnover, but the goal here is to act for the coral. Corals are critical, but under massive threat. We have a local solution to help restore and protect coral reef in Réunion that will combine coral restoration, training, and awareness building. We have the perfect team to deliver this ambition. As a conclusion, I just give you my Earth word. It's maybe a little step for the planet, but it's a big step for me as a citizen from Réunion Island. That's to precise, the municipality of Saint-Pierre has sent official mail to invite Your Excellency, the Prince, to visit and discover this project. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. And again, with that being said, we will move straight into the question and answer. 5 minutes will begin when the first question is asked.
Hello. Oh, can you hear me? Yep. Hi, and thank you for your presentation. I'm curious about what is your strategy facing coral bleaching and the different coral diseases in the Indian Ocean?
We work today with specialists, Association IRB for the biomimetism, and they are composed with marine biologists and doctors. They give me advice today and analysis, and we work with this partner for advance in this project.
Thank you for your presentation and for traveling so far to be with us. In your business plan, you mentioned that reef building corals are impacted by climate change, degraded water quality, increasing coastal urbanization and sewage discharge. They're also affected by silting, bleaching, other algal growth, depopulation of marine species. So is this actually a solution to any of those challenges that are actually facing the coral? Sorry, did you get what I'm asking? Okay. How is your solution addressing the root causes of coral? How do you take that into consideration in your plan?
Okay, we propose a program for Adopt a Coral because Adopt a Coral is a commitment, and we think we can save the super corals now in Réunion Island because it's coral most resistant face the climatic changement.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm not the biggest specialist about this aspect, so I would like to understand more when you say like replants corals. Do you have any numbers to understand a bit more, like if you replant one, for example, regarding fishes, like how does it impact, but in numbers? Like, for example, how many fishes can live, in one coral, or this kind of information to understand more the impact on the ocean concretely?
Actually, it's 19% of coral has been disappeared in Réunion Island, and it's the same result for the fish.
And you talk about you did 120K for the first year. How many corals will you plant? It's like
for the first year, we want to adopt 1,000 corals. We plant 1,000 corals.
Okay. It looks like that's all we have for questions, judges. Yes, perfect. So thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you for the questions. And thank you for the nice big round of applause. Congratulations once again. And so that will conclude the 3 business plans for our category 1 students who happen to be bachelors and masters. Fantastic job to each and every one of you. Huge congratulations. And it's quite interesting, if I may take just a moment to add, with competitions like this, like the MOPC, the solutions that are provided are often ones that you may not think of. Most people don't think in their daily lives about buoys or coral or some of us even surfboards, but the action that is going to save our oceans, the future of humanity and of our planet, begins in this room. So once again, thank you to each of the three teams who have presented. And with that said, we will be moving on to our second category, which is entrepreneurs and newly created startups. So this will work the same way that it worked the first time. We have a 5-minute presentation plus the 5-minute Q&A, and we have three teams in this category. The first is Aqua Development from EDEC Business School in France. The second is Oceanfelt from Latvia, and the third is Reshore from the Netherlands, and they will again present in that order. So without further ado, I would like to ask on stage the team of Aqua Development from EDEC Business School.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being here today. My name is Mohamed Ali Ben Abbas, and I'm proudly and happy to be here representing Aqua Development, and also proudly to share this passion about the ocean with you today, and to represent what we dream of doing is to sustainably cultivate shrimps in everywhere in the world. So basically, to start with, Aqua Development is a story. Since I was a kid, one of the activities I used to do majorly was to go and camp in the sea shores with my brother and my father. And we used to enjoy all types of activities, nautical and diving and all sorts. And that built a kind of relationship with the ocean. And we've been sadly seeing how it's getting deteriorated over time. Now, one of the species that was the most alarming was shrimps. And here, when I say shrimps, it covers also prawns and all sorts of crustaceans. And unfortunately, it's because of the fishing activities, the pollution that affected the oceans, but also the lack of addressing of technology addressing these species in terms of production. And when basically we looked at how like out of 10 shrimps today are in our plates come from in terms of production, 5 out of 10 come from traditional aquaculture, which consists actually in literally taking in the water of the ocean and filling it with all sorts of chemicals, and relies a lot on antibiotics, and then throwing it back into the ocean discharged with all sorts of agents. The second methodology, which is the most archaic I've ever seen, is actually trawling. Trawling, like Reef Family said, they destroy ocean floors by trawling nets. And not also that, but they actually throw 86% of the species by catch back in the ocean dead. So it's a really destructive way of producing anything. Actually, the last one, which is the hope, is RAS technology. Unfortunately, this technology works well with many species other than shrimp because of the capex and the opex that needs to be implanted into a lot of equipment to maintain shrimps alive. It brings the cost really high. So we thought, how can we actually bring into the market a way to produce shrimps in a natural way and to have it available universally, and also to have it financially stable? We researched, we looked on what exists today, how we do it, the logic behind it. And the logic is basically you cultivate the species and you focus on the species that you cultivate. And by meaning that, you actually eliminate everything else around it. You can take the most advanced technologies in shrimps is basically RAS using a biotic water. So meaning killing anything that is less than shrimp. And what we wanted to do is actually reinvent that, actually learn from the nature and bring it in our ponds. So doing that, we successfully combined two aspects. So in a farm design plus the science behind it, and we successfully could resemble the nature by, and it happened that we lowered the capex, we lowered the opex, we increased the productivity because we simply offer the shrimp in natural environment. But finally, we achieved the fact that we removed any antibiotic, any chemical from our usage. We lowered the discharge of the water, and we achieved what we wanted to do, a universal solution that can be implemented in any country. Now, talking about the market, The market is important. The market in France, example, is an example, of course, of the European market. That's why we want to be here. France today imports over 99% of the shrimp, and the rest actually is produced not in the hexagon, is produced in overseas, for example, in La Réunion. And what we wanted to do is actually, no, we want to produce here, and that's what our solution enable us. And the market is really interesting. We looked at what the customer specifically wants, what the consumer looks at when he looks at shrimps is the price, the quality, and also the origin. The origin, by that, we mean where and how it has been produced. And we fall in all these categories, tick, tick, tick. Finally, what we want to do today is actually to set up a model farm. We already are incorporated in South Korea. That's where we developed our first concept and the commercial farm. And today we want to come to the biggest market, Europe. And we basically want to start with a model farm, growing up with a hatchery to have an integrated production system with a supply chain. We want to expand with an R&D to domesticate local species. That's what we want to do as a noble aspect of our project. What we also want to do is to reach an IPO size by 2030. Finally, what I want to tell you is actually we successfully did that with shrimps, but we also, our technology enabled us to reach all the species. What we want to do in the future is really to develop a new way of cultivating ocean life for production purposes. And we want to relieve the ocean from all the burden that we've been causing, giving a chance the ocean to regenerate and our children also to taste the taste of nature. Thank you very much, and I welcome your questions.
Judges, oh, I apologize for that. Again, the timer will begin when the first question is asked, and I hope all of your eardrums are still intact.
Yes, thanks a lot. We actually totally agree with your analysis of the problems with the shrimp industry and your approach to solving them, to the extent that we have invested in a company in your space. I'd be interested to know, so we've seen a number of companies using biofloc. I think that's what you're looking at. Understand what are your differentiators compared to companies like Lisaqua or Norway in this space. And also, what is the price points that you're achieving or aiming at? Because that's key to scaling this solution. So the price point compared to traditionally farmed or fished shrimp. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. So this is a small comparative table of what we differentiate us from other technologies. RAS, given we don't compare to traditional lot because we're really off that in terms of productivity, in terms of also reliability. But we compare to RAS and biofloc. Compared to biofloc and RAS, we have a higher and a more stable technology in terms of biologically, because biofloc relies on inputting bacteria, specific bacteria into the environment to maintain the growth of the shrimp, the health of the shrimp, the mortality lower, and so on. But what we do actually recreate the whole ecosystem. We don't have to maintain that stable environment within proportions exactly. That's the problem with biofloc, and that's why also it's really heavily reliable from supply chain of certain bacteria and recreating certain bacteria. We don't. We actually develop our own environment indoors, and we do it by doing, that's our technology in a way. And compared to RAS, RAS is heavily high on CapEx, reliant on CapEx, and that's because they need to do what we do with, mechanical or electrical equipment. Example, filtering the water. We filter our water by cycling it into several tanks. In each tank, there is different species that actually would eat the shrimp waste and clean the water, including fish, including bacteria, including planktons, including crustaceans, other crustaceans, and algae. So all that makes our technology, one, reliable. That's simply the nature. The nature is doing it the most efficient way because it has already iterated all the type of solutions that could be the best. And that's what we do. We just learned looked at how the nature is doing and tried to implement it indoor in a controlled environment. In terms of pricing, sorry, I will go to, here. So here you can see the pricing compared to these technologies, and we kind of produce to the same price as and this is in South Korea, of course, so that it's kind of not far from the European standard of living. So we kind of achieve a certain high competitive pricing, and people don't believe it because we simply reduce a lot the capex and the opex in the operations because of the equipment that were removed, the mechanical processes, the manpower involved, and that's basically what we achieve, $4.5 per kilogram with a RAS that here in Europe, RAS exceeds the production costs 37 euros, according to our France Agrimaire and other organisms. So we're really far from that, from the cost problem. So we set our prices high also, by the way, because we play also on the quality. We don't offer prawns that are imported or frozen, or we focus on fresh and real fresh. We don't fish and freeze in the trolling boats or ship from Asia. We produce locally, directly within the last mile production, you know. So that's how we do it.
Hi, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I'm wondering how you monitor the the balance between the different species that interacts within the ponds, and is it like self-regulated, or do you have to have an action on that?
It's a smart farm. It's not self-regulated. It's a smart farm. So we have like online condition monitoring systems that allow us to monitor every time, everywhere, life condition of the water condition of the prawns and so on. We have cameras inputted to watch the behavior of the prawns and so on. But we also have this design. This design is separating the species in tanks, but connecting them through water. So the problem with the normal ecosystem is not, it's actually, the nature is super, but the nature also has cannibalistic attitude. So if we combine the species in the same tank, they will eat each other. What we do, we just use what they do, functionalities, their biological functionalities, to produce the shrimps. In the shrimps side, also what we do, also we actually recreate this ecosystem. So we created zooplanktons and phytoplankton and copypods to actually feed the shrimps. That's why we say it's natural. We don't necessarily feed the shrimp 100% from normal food, organic food, but we also feed the shrimp from its organisms. I hope I answered the question.
Okay. Beautiful. And that is unfortunately all the time we have for questions. So thank you so much for the presentation.
Can I just give?
Yes. Yes.
1 second. I'll take just 30 minutes because I want to give credit to the team and I want to show you some products. These are our products in Korea, how we sell them. And these are feedbacks from our online shop in Korea, people describing the taste and the quality of the shrimp. And we were amazed. We were not expecting that, but people actually taste in the most amazing market that has really transitioned expectation about the quality of product. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Fantastic. Very well done. Wow, I'm blown away by that. Wow. All right, so we're up to a good start. With that being said, we will be moving then straight into our next team, which is Oceanfelt from Latvia. So I know you guys are here. Can you come on stage, please? And can we get a round of applause, please?
Hi, my name is Michelle, and I'm the co-founder of Oceanfelt. We started this project because of the growing problem with seaweed that is being washed ashore. And this happens because of the climate change and because of the increased activities of people in the seas. And this leads to negative consequences. For example, when seaweed starts rotting on the beaches, it releases toxic gases. Also, in some regions, it damages coastal ecosystems because there is so much seaweed on the beaches and it is not typical for the ecosystems. And of course, there is a negative impact on tourist industry in terms of lost profits. Local governments are trying to solve this problem, but simply by collecting the seaweed. And then it ends up in landfills with no more value. And this is where our solution steps in, because we take this seaweed and we make a non-woven material out of this. We call the material Oceanfelt. And one of the main advantages of our material is that its production cost is cheap because we can get the seaweed fiber very cheap. Actually, we agreed with our local municipality in Latvia that they will be providing the seaweed for us just for free. And now let's talk about the impact of our material. And one of the impacts is that because we are meant to substitute the non-woven materials made from plastic, so the use of our material will limit leakage of microplastic into ocean. Also, Oceanfelt is biodegradable comparing to other non-wovens made from plastics. And of course, there is a social and economic impact for local municipalities because we will create new value chains by upcycling the seaweed that was not used before. There are tons of applications for our material, starting from fashion and interior industry to packaging and also construction and music industries. But we decided to start with the fashion industry because of our team's contacts and knowledge. So we can move faster in this industry, which is very important for any startup. And there is a great opportunity in the market because it is growing. If we look on the statistics, the global market for non-woven materials is expected to almost double in next 10 years and reach 61.5 billion euros. So we are going to sell our material B2B to companies that will then use it to make their products out of it. And there is a great potential to scale in the future. And we have calculated is that if we recycle just 0.1% of seaweed washed ashore, we can produce 1.6 million square meters of Oceanfelt per month. Now let's talk about where we are now and where we want to be. So right now we are producing all kinds of MVPs like this. It is made from 100% seaweed. And we were honored to be selected as one of the startups in the IKEA startup competition, where IKEA is looking for the companies that they can cooperate and who produce sustainable materials. And we are also in the process of working with designers to test our material and also improve its qualities. And our big goal by the end of this year is to connect with a production partner because we want to produce our material on industrial scale. But our big vision for the future is that we want to see seaweed-based non-woven materials in every European home in the next 10 years. And why we are the best team to implement this project? Because I myself an experienced entrepreneur and I have experience in commercialization of new products. And Juris, my colleague, he's a production director and he has experience in organization of different kind of productions. And he also owns his own small manufacturer in Latvia where he produces shoes and accessories. So we can test our material there and do it very fast. This is actually the end of my presentation and I will be happy to answer your questions.
Let's move into a 5-minute questions and answers. So again, once the first question is asked, we will begin the timer. I leave the floor to you, fine ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I'm curious to learn more about the logistics between the place where you collect the seaweed, the place where you transform, the place where you sell. Like, how does that work in your strategy?
We are creating a local solution. We are located in Riga. It is on the coast of the Baltic Sea. And in the Baltic Sea, there is a problem with the green seaweed that is polluting the beaches. So we are taking this seaweed and we will be producing it locally. But our plan for the future is to move to also other countries where there is this problem, but we want to do it locally so that not to do a lot of logistics of shipping the seaweed to another countries. And we are able to do that because the technology itself, it can, we can use the existing machinery on the factories to produce our non-woven material because it is just it's not a new technology. Of course, there are needed adjustments for the machinery, but we don't need to build like a new plant to start producing this material. But of course, in the future, we would like to do it, but we need to reach a certain capacity in terms of meters produced so that it makes sense.
Hi. So for this product and solution to be successful, it needs to be competitive on both performance and price. So what is the material or the materials you're competing with on performance and price, and what about the technology makes you think that you can be competitive on performance and price?
Sorry, what about the technology?
What is it about the technology that makes you think you can be competitive on performance and price with whatever material you compete, you're benchmarking yourself to?
Yeah. So in terms of competition, we are competing with other felts made from plant fibers. For example, there is a felt made from hemp and all kind of different plants. And also our competitive advantage is that we can produce cheaper because our raw material is free. Actually, of course, there is logistics associated in the cost, but governments are ready just to give away this seaweed because they collect it anyway. And of course, there are also some costs associated with bringing the seaweed to the landfill. So we are making their life easier. And in terms of performance, we can make the material in different thicknesses. And of course, the thicker it becomes, the more it is strong. But when you're making non-woven materials, it's very easy to control the density of the material because you just take more fiber and press it more and it becomes more dense. So we have benchmarks. For example, we want to make the 350 grams per square meter, so we can compete with other non-wovens. Yes. And in terms of technology, as I said, it's a very old technology of making non-woven materials, but there is a preparation process because, of course, we cannot take it from the ground and make a non-woven. We are cleaning it and we are drying the fiber. So, of course, there is some preparation, but the process of creating the material itself, it is understandable in terms of technology.
Do you confirm that it's a 100% natural product, no polymer inside, or what is the second life of your product?
The second life of the product, because it is completely made from plant seaweed fibers, it biodegrades when it reaches the ground. So it is much better than, let's say, plastic non-wovens. But up to date, we didn't calculate the exact time it takes to biodegrade, so I cannot tell that. Yeah.
Sorry, one last question. I've actually been reviewing proposals around use of sargassum this week, 5 of them. So how can you how does Oceanfelt's usage of sargassum compare cost-wise in terms of profitability to the many other uses that other companies are exploring?
The situation is so that there is so many this seaweed that it is not upcycled like 100%. So of course, maybe we are not the best in terms of like price that we can generate when we will upcycle like 1 gram of the seaweed. But because there is so much of it, it makes sense to create more solutions how it can be upcycled. But of course, with the sargassum, there is a lot of other things you can do, like extract oils and so on. But for example, in our region, in the Baltic Sea, we have the other type of seaweed, the green seaweed, and currently there is nobody is upcycling it. It just ends up in landfills. But the problem is very serious because it is actually Baltic Sea is the first most polluted sea in the world. So it is like also my mission to somehow solve this problem.
Okay, thank you. That's all the time we have for questions. Thank you for the nice big round of applause. Thank you again for the presentation. Thank you to our jury member for their interesting questions. And with that said, we will be moving on to our last team, which is Reshore from the Netherlands. So I ask you to come on stage and give your presentation. And now I ask for a nice big round of applause, please. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Oh, so weird to hear your own voice. All right. Hello, my name is Mitchell Williams, and I'm a co-founder of Reshore. And at Reshore, we are creating the next generation of nature-inclusive marine infrastructure to combat flooding and erosion. And we are doing this because small waves are causing a big problem, both in developed and in natural areas. What we're seeing is the repeated impact of these small waves is causing damages that are costly and really flooding and erosion. Now, our customers are unable to use traditional wave breaking solutions because of environmental constraints. These might be environmental legislation, but it could also be characteristics that are physical, like depth. Now, what we've identified is that there is a need for nature-inclusive floating solutions. And that is why we have created the Living Breakwater. The Living Breakwater does 3 things. It breaks waves, it restores degraded ecosystems, and it creates new economic opportunities for stakeholders. And we do this by combining floating breakwater technology with regenerative aquaculture. And we have developed our own proprietary aquaculture system, which enables this technology. And we've demonstrated this technology in the world-renowned wave basins of Maren in the Netherlands. And here we were able to prove that aquaculture improves the wave attenuation performance of a breakwater. And now we're ready to demonstrate it on the water. So we've been granted permission from the harbor master in the port of Scheveningen in the Netherlands in order to conduct an experimental demonstration. And this is a critical part of our strategy to go to the market. And the market is a robust one. We'll begin important waterway development, focusing specifically on Northwestern Europe before expanding into the aquaculture industry, the renewable sector, and finally into offshore operations, where the market is robust, but the technical challenge to get there is significant. Now, Reshore is positioning itself in the value chain as a technology developer. We co-develop with our suppliers in order to meet the needs of our customers. EPC contractors need our technology in order to continue to do their core business, whereas ports and harbors need to attenuate small waves, but also adhere to environmental legislation. Now, we provide this value to our customers with 3 different product and service offerings. The first is the hardware. We sell this directly to EPC contractors or to end users, and we give it to them as a turnkey solution. We are then able to maintain that breakwater biannually, which provides Reshore with recurring revenue. And finally, eventually we will develop a licensing model, which we will sell to EPC contractors, who in turn will address the needs of the end users. And this business model is not only applicable within our beachhead market of ports and harbors, but it can be applied to all of the other markets I explained before. And we know this because we have asked. We validated our customer segments. We know that we have product market fit in each of these individual markets. And we know that we have customers that are willing to pay for our solution, provided we continue to develop our technology. Now, in order to tackle the market, it is essential that Reshore develops reliable partnerships. We want to partner with EPC contractors in order to enter the market, scale within the market, and ultimately potentially exit. We want to work with NGOs in order to gain credibility as a nature-inclusive infrastructure solution. And finally, we want to work with research institutes in order to develop new and innovative technologies, or work with them in developing new and innovative technologies and apply it to our own systems. But these are not examples of companies that we want to work with. These are companies that we are already working with today. Now, entering the market isn't enough. One must scale. So in terms of scaling, we want to develop modular hardware, which will allow for rapid rollouts. We will develop our product using computer simulations, which is both time and cost effective. And ultimately, we are developing IP and patents to solidify our position within the market. In terms of business model, we are striving for a licensing model, which will allow us to diversify into different markets and grow within those markets. And as we do these two things, we will also be able to upscale our impact, creating new habitats, creating new livelihoods, and also building more resilient ecosystems. Now, in doing so, we will be tackling SDGs 13 and 14. Now, no business is complete without its team. Frey and I are the co-founders of Reshore, and we've recently brought in Pedro, who is our breakwater expert. And we've surrounded ourselves with both technical and business advisors from around the world with decades of experience in the maritime sector. Now, the problem is clear. The solution is one that we are developing or have developed. And now we're going to demonstrate it on the water, hopefully in Monaco. Now, I hope that you can help us take it from a small scale solution to a massively impactful business. So if you know of any organizations that can help us do so, please have them contact us. Thank you.
Wow, excellent job. Again, thank you for the presentation. And again, you guys know how this works. 5-minute Q&A. The first question begins the timer.
Can you tell us more about how aquaculture fits into the solution? What is done with the products, particularly those, for example, from a port, which are likely not consumable, versus those from somewhere else? And then in particular, who would be responsible for actually managing the biota?
Okay, cool. I'll try and go in order. Remind me if I forget something. So in terms of the management of the aquaculture, where it goes in the port, that's the second question. The ports are currently not interested in harvesting and selling the aquaculture because largely it will be done in their operational spaces. They are interested in using it as a restorative aquaculture exclusively. As we scale up into other markets, we hope that the aquaculture can become more viable, but within our beachhead, it's not looking like it's really that harvestable. But the aquaculture system is still worth developing, I think, because of those later market applications. What was the first question?
It was where the products go, but and how it sort of fits in with the system. It's part of the attenuation, is that right?
Yeah, it's built into the system. I can't exactly go into how it would be done so. And then the final question? I'm sorry.
No, I think you've covered, but I think maybe I would clarify that that's more, yeah, sorry, that's right. Actually the important business one was operations. So who is managing I mean, I guess it's an artificial reef more than it is aquaculture, but who's managing?
So with the initial systems, we want to manage them ourselves because it's a critical part of our intellectual property to kind of understand how the aquaculture is growing, and as we move into other markets, understand exactly how that works. As we develop into the licensing model, which is, kind of our blue sky proposition in terms of scalability, then we would work in conjunction with the EPC contractor, the large firms that conduct coastal protection projects all around the world, in order to work with local partners to either harvest or maintain that aquaculture. Of course, we can also do it ourselves for the right price.
Thank you for the presentation. I would like to know a bit more about the components you're using to build your system and what are the impacts on the sea and oceans, like on environments, basically.
Sure. So we are working to basically reduce our environmental impact as much as humanly possible. It's a huge component of what we're trying to do as a nature inclusive product in the living breakwater. So breakwaters traditionally are used from concrete. So we're exploring how to use ecological concrete. There are a plethora of different companies that are developing this, especially within the maritime sector. For example, e-concrete. We've had discussions with them about how to build our double pontoon system with that. We had played with the idea of steel for a long time, but steel is one, very costly, and two, not great for the environment. So we're really focusing on recycled plastics and ecological concrete presently for the pontoons. In terms of the aquaculture, that's nature, so that we'll use as environmentally friendly lines as possible for our aquaculture system, artificial reef anchors, and a whole bunch of different types of mooring chains that aren't actually chains, like Muralink in Spain. These things float, so then you're not dragging chains on the bottom. So that's kind of the components that we're thinking about.
Okay, how many years can we keep your system in place without getting any like losing any efficiency?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it?
How many years in the port, for example, as you show, can we keep your system?
Oh, industry standard for lifespans for floating structures is between 20 and 30 years. So that's what we're targeting. In terms of the aquaculture, you need to harvest it annually.
Thank you.
No problem. Is that it? Okay. One more question.
Yes. Yeah, just going back to the debate. Sorry for the crackling. Just if you could elaborate on the problem. So you mentioned small waves and making big having a big negative impact. Yeah, just like to hear more
so
about
metrics,
this.
of course. So 98% of the erosion of natural ecosystems like salt marshes and other kind of wetland sort of infrastructure, or sorry, not infrastructure, ecosystems, is caused by small waves. It's the repeated wave action that just kind of batters them. The large storms are, of course, a huge factor in terms of costs and damages, but the repeated daily action is what is causing a lot of natural erosion. And in terms of the operational environment for ports, a 1 meter wave means that they cannot operate in the area, in the space that they have. And that within a sheltered area is quite high, but it happens all the time. And that's why, because these ports are designed for a certain wave height or a certain characteristic, that this is applicable within there, because these waves, as climate change goes on, are getting higher and higher and less able to control. And they need to maximize their flexibility in terms of the wave attenuation solutions that they have. Is that good? Cool, thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. That's all the time we have for questions. Thank you for the presentation.
No problem.
Thank you to the judges, and thank you to the audience for a nice round of applause. So it has come to my attention that throughout this entire time, our online guests have been having a very interesting discussion in the comments. So we would like to thank you guys actually for all the discussion that you do bring up, all the comments that you brought up. There are some very thought-provoking comments in the comment section of the live stream that we have. So again, that will conclude our two parts of the presentation, category 1 and category 2 presentations of both the students and the entrepreneurs. And we will be moving in next into our elevator pitches. So for those of you who are not familiar with this, this is where each team presents a 1-minute short presentation, basically the length of an elevator ride, to pitch their idea to the audience, you fine ladies and gentlemen. So we will be playing a video that will act as a compilation of all the elevator pitches.
Is an environmentally friendly buoy that provides an additional source of aquaculture. The buoy is constructed in a sphere structure using alginate coatings to prevent erosion and carries a ballast tank filled with used PET bottles. The artificial reef is made by steel slacks that are high in calcium and iron and is in the shape of a munger sponge, which maximizes surface area and thus the space for kelp cultivation. Buoy prevents seafarers' acidification, tackles environmental problems created by conventional oyster buoys, and reuses PET bottles that harm the marine environment. The team plans to acquire resources via contracts with regional waste treatment facilities and seal production companies. Also, we plan to initiate campaigns such as Adopt a Kelp campaign as a Kickstarter. The company will break even after 5 months of operation, thanks to the recycling structure of production that generates mass profits.
The PogiSurf adventure is the story of two friends who are passionate about surfing and the ocean.
Tragically, due to storms and the plastics that litter our beaches, we see the increasing impact of pollution and climate change on our oceans, and we know how it is key to protect them.
That's why we want to play our part to help change things.
Today, foam surfboards are super polluting. There are blocks of foil coming from Asia and have an average lifespan of 2 years. For an Olympic sport, it's an aberration. In addition to that, it's hard for surf schools to supply themselves because of the transport delays from Asia and prices are increasing. The board quality, though, is still the same. With PogiSurf, we are developing a board that will answer both of those issues. A board where the polystyrene interior will be replaced by a wood skeleton and a recycled plastic rail coming straight from fishing nets recovered from the ocean. We will have more responsible materials and a locally produced board, but above all, much more resistant.
The best part is that it's coming soon. We are going to realize the first free board so you can test them this summer.
Hi, I'm Ulrich, the founder of Reef Family. More than half of the corals have already disappeared in the Indian Ocean area, and 15% are threatened today on Reunion Island. If nothing is done within 5 years, we will have reached the point of no return. Our goal is to create an innovative participatory solution, allowing citizens to act against the total disappearance of coral reefs. Each training offered by our team will allow the public who have followed the training to adopt their coral. Adopting your coral is a commitment. We follow its evolution until its big departure in the ocean. The training courses allow the user to put themselves in the shoes of a marine biologist for a day, or even that of a coral gardener. And for those who can't swim, there is also the Coral Farm, where daily visits are organized. For the more knowledge-able, we have an experimentation area in the middle of the lagoon for fabulous discoveries and unforgettable underwater excursions. Join us.
Aqua Development Limited, AD, is an innovative aquaculture company producing best quality organic shrimps using CamiSys technology. CamiSys is a comprehensive aquaculture system based on aqua mimicry, optimized farm design based on a modular system reducing capex by up to 5 times, multi-stage biofiltering system allowing us to reduce water discharge by up to 99%, grow out phase technology, where we reproduce the ocean micro ecosystem to raise natural shrimps and with a productivity up to 10 times more than traditional technologies. Feed or additive technology based on sustainable sources. Nursery phase technology. Shrimp transportation and harvest, respecting animal welfare. For more information, please visit us at aquadevelopment.com.
Hello, my name is Mitchell and I am a co-founder of Reshore. And at Reshore, we are solving a very specific problem, and that is the issue of small waves. You see the repeated impact of small waves in developed areas like in ports and harbors, but also in natural areas like salt marshes can cause a real big issue. Now, environmental constraints mean that we cannot implement normal wave-breaking solutions in these types of environments. What we have identified is that there is a need for nature-inclusive coastal protection, which can be implemented in both of these areas. And that is why we created the Living Breakwater. Now, the Living Breakwater integrates floating breakwater technology and regenerative aquaculture in order to improve the wave-breaking performance of the breakwater, to restore degraded ecosystems using mussels, oysters, and seaweed, and to create new economic opportunities from the harvest of that aquaculture. Now, we've tested our concept in Marin's Wave Basin, and now we are looking to put a pilot on the water, and we're looking for your support to be able to do that. Thank you.
This is Sargassum seaweed, growing in its natural environment, the ocean, and everything seems so peaceful until it reaches the coast. Once washed ashore on the beaches, this smelling seaweed goes on to damage the tourist industry, prevent turtles from nesting, and also worsen the coastal ecosystems, while also releasing toxic gases as it decomposes. Our solution is Oceanfelt, that is a non-woven material made of a mix of seaweed that is washed ashore and technical hemp fiber. This material can be used for the production of various pieces, and we are planning to use it in the textile industry first.
And one more big round of applause, if I may ask you all. Thank you very much. So thank you again to each of your teams for the elevator pitch. Great job. Again, congratulations. With that said, we will be moving into our jury deliberation. So we invite the jury to follow Ms. Sophie DeLorenzo and Mr. Pierre Gilles, who will bring you to the Salle Tortue, where you will have about 15 to 20 minutes to deliberate and decide who will be the winner of this year's edition. So we gladly kick you out of our room so that you may bring us a winner for this year's MOPC. Good luck, guys. But in the meantime, I would like to kindly invite on stage Mr. Cyril Gomez, the Chief Operating Officer of the Oceanographic Institute and the Prince Albert I Foundation of Monaco, Mr. Olivier Venden, the Vice President and Chief Executive Officer of the Prince Albert II Foundation of Monaco, Mr. Peter Koopman, Founder and President of Monaco Impact, and Mr. Jean-Philippe Muller, General Director and Dean of the International University of Monaco, who will then sign an MOU, which is a Memorandum of Understanding. And for those of you who may not be familiar with what an MOU is, it's a contract that basically defines that all of these organizations will work together for a singular cause, whatever it may be. And this will confirm their engagement to actively contribute to the ambitious development of the Monaco Ocean Protection Challenge, and thus have a significant impact on ocean preservation business models. So we'll take just an extra minute to take some more photos. Gentlemen, could you pose for your best photo pose, please? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much to all of the organizations who are taking part in this, for all of your support. A nice big round of applause for each of these four institutions. From the bottom of my own heart, thank you all very much. Without you, I would not have had the opportunities that I have today. So congratulations. Oh, we're just taking an extra couple photos now. So each contract has to be signed by each of the four members. That's why they're all going around signing each other's papers. It's not an autograph thing, I promise. And for those of you who are waiting, give us just an extra couple of minutes because we will have a break, but there's just something quick that I would like to announce once the ceremony here is done. So please just remain seated and bear with us for an extra few minutes, please. Thank you. One last big round of applause for the 4 partnering institutions. Thank you very much. Beautiful. So with that said, before we let you go to have your break, I know how much you want to have it, as do I. We do have a audience vote section. So for those of you who are either online or in person, we have a Slido vote, which we are going to provide you a QR code to access. And from there, you can go and vote for your favorite team that presented today, and there will be an audience award. So it does have quite a large impact. And with that said, we will also have a short 5 to 10 minute break for those of you who would like to take one, preferably after you voted. Thank you very much.
A spacchettare il cos'è? Hai 25, quindi possiamo dare category special mention. Specialmente ma metti sopra. Starbucks. Vabbè, prima devo dare che se non è di mi ha chiesto scusa comunque. Adrian per la camera. Ho chiuso lo slide, no? No, no, ok. Ma c'è solo.
Giving out the awards. I'm here to give awards from one type of water.
So, so if you will actually give out the best business platform integrity to the professionals and together with Mr. President of Monaco, stage, and the cards inside the envelope. One is for motivation, why the third best of the show. He will bring the motivation, he will bring the name of the I hope it's really like in any case, I will be here because I will just hand you over the prizes to the groups that will be on the stage. So in case you don't see it,
You want to sit in here?
yes, exactly. You have some research things I believe they're not all that so you can find this for them. Is that right?
No, we can have it back. Oh, okay. Go around the back.
Okay, and then this is happening at people start all these ceremony at 5:30 and it will be the last. Hopefully 5:43. Okay.
Maintenant, comme ça. Ouais. Mais dans tous les cas, on fait ça le début de la salle. Après, c'est parce que en tout cas, yes. Yes. Figurati, sempre pronto. No. No, pour les ramener. Ah bah, oui, mais tu dois faire la communication. Tu fais la communication si. Ouais. Et en fait, tu peux plus le voir à droite à gauche. J'ai vu, bon, le pote, non, c'est bon, je dois travailler. Hein. Après, ah, bah ça. Ouais, 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 bien sûr. Après, je dois donner ça, je dois donner, donc je fais comme ça, je fais comme ça. Ouais. E ça c'est, ça non fa perché devo portarlo, i certificati li ho messi qua assieme agli envelope. Oui, oui, on a déjà ça. Elle est là plus grande. Ouais. Vabbè, per chiudere
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you all to take your seats again. We will begin in just a quick moment. The jury has come back from their deliberations, so after this, we will be presenting the awards to each of the teams.
Non è che l'ho fatto prima. Adesso qui comunque.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if I may ask the remaining stragglers to come and take a seat, we can begin right away. Thank you very much. Okay, beautiful. Welcome back, everybody. So before we just get to the award ceremony, which is the best part, I would like to, as the people come back to their seats, I would like to ask on stage Mr. Peter Kootman, the founder and president of Monaco Impact, as well as Mr. Jean-Philippe Muller, the general director and the dean of the International University of Monaco, to give a brief few words to all of you. A round of applause, please.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for your presentations. You are a real pro. And thank you for everybody coming here. Some people even coming, I hear 10,000 kilometers. It's amazing. You're very welcome. Today we're all together here at this wonderful Musée Oceanographic for one reason: the future of our oceans and therefore our planet. More than 5 years ago, the Monaco Ocean Protection Challenge enabled us to join and support young students and entrepreneurs to explore new horizons and new technologies to protect our environment. More than ever, we see our direct and indirect implication in the pollution of our Mother Earth. So it is our duty to find sustainable solutions that can be used worldwide. All these young students and entrepreneurs have the capacity to innovate and think out of the box. The Monaco Ocean Protection founders are here to help them thrive and bring exciting new activities. We have the real-life experience needed to help bring these initiatives to fruition. Monaco has a long history with the oceans, and among many other initiatives, the annual Monaco Ocean Protection Challenge is embodying the great soft power of the Principality of Monaco. The oceans unites all of us. So let's unite our energies to find the best innovative solutions to keep this link between all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, for those words. Like the Dean of a university, I'm very happy today being at this challenge. With the partner, we founded this 5 years ago, and the idea at the beginning was to have a student coming from a different country, being engaged in this challenge, presenting opportunities for the future project. And I think today, now with the number of participants, the different nationalities, the different categories, more and more this challenge is becoming more and more impactful. And it's a good idea since we want to have a positive impact, especially regarding the ocean preservation. For university, it's very important. We have in the DNA of the school, the International University of Monaco, some keywords: entrepreneurship, sustainable development, international cooperation, international project. A lot of those words are inside the Monaco Ocean Protection Challenge. And I'm sure this 5th edition is the beginning of a very, very, very long story. And certainly, I hope, like we have in another challenge we do organize with the university for the luxury industry, and now it's the 10th edition. I'm sure for the next coming year, we will continue to grow this challenge. It's so important. And I know for you, students, first, congratulations for being part and being so engaged. But I know how it is important for you to develop your success. You are in business school or engineer school or other school. But I know how it is important to do this success, to build your success, having a positive impact for the future. So it's very optimistic to listen to you, to all those projects today. And it makes me very positive for the future. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to Mr. Peter Koopman and Mr. Jean-Philippe Muller for their kind words. And thank you both so much for all the support that you've given us over the last 5 years. It really means the world to us. And with that said, we will be getting into the best part of our ceremony, which is the awards. So we're going to go over quick the prizes for both the categories. And for the student category, for all 3 finalist teams, so not just the winner, but all finalists, will receive a 1-year membership for the Amis du Musée Oceanographic Association. So you guys can be part of the Oceanographic family, if you will, as well as an invitation to attend the Ocean Innovators Platform Day as part of the audience during the Monaco Ocean Week 2023 at the end of March. And for the winners of the 2022 edition, the first prize provided by Nansen Polar Expeditions is an experiential journey of 10 days in Svalbard, in, I believe it's Norway, for 2 people, it's a trip to the Arctic wildlife and the icescapes, and will teach you how to navigate the iconic fjords in the country. So that sounds really cool. Secondly, they will receive a pre-incubation program, so a 6-month program that will help them set up their company. For projects that are based outside of the Principality of Monaco, you will receive 1 hour with a chartered public accountant to review the business plan and Q&A session that you have provided here today. For projects that will be launched within the Principality, you will receive 1 full year of fiscal support services, such as legal, tax, and financial services, by a Monegasque chartered public accountant office to help you set up your company within the Principality. You will also receive a meeting with the CEOs or senior executives of the 4 organizing institutions, as well as a meeting with 1 incubator supporter of the MOPC. Next, you will also receive a promotion of your project and team through the communication channels of all 4 organizing partners and institutions. And finally, you will receive a beautiful trophy that will be provided by Mr. Alberto Vitale, who is a member of Monaco Impact. Now, for the entrepreneur category, for all 3 finalists, you will receive an invitation again to the Ocean Innovators platform as part of the audience in the Monaco Ocean Week 2023, as well as a check of €5,000 provided very kindly by Monaco Impact. You will also receive an accelerator program by White Castle Partners, which includes meetings and presentations to investors. You will also receive an invitation to present your company during the Ocean Innovators platform in Monaco Ocean Week 2023. You will also receive a promotion of the project once again through all 4 institutions' channels. And finally, you'll receive also the beautiful trophy that is presented today by Mr. Alberto Vitale. And because there was a pretty interesting debate about who would be this year's final teams, the second jury agreed to give a special mention to a project that missed out on the grand finale by just a few points in our scoring chart. And this was the reason that they are deserving of recognition. So to present the Special Mention Award for 2022, I would like to invite Ms. Camille Lopez, the president and founder of HighPlug and the winner of the MOPC in 2021, to provide the award. A nice round of applause, please.
Hello to everybody. That's a huge honor to be here this year, 1 year after, not as a competitor, but on the jury member board. And it's a pleasure to give this special mention for 2022 to the right person. So I will say it right now. So the special mention is for the Unknown from University Côte d'Azur in France.
Félicitations, mesdames. Beautiful. What a beautiful group of ladies. Thank you so much. The Unknown, congratulations. Thank you for all of your support and all of your hard work. Beautiful. And actually, we will be showing a 1-minute video from The Unknown, which we...
Ocean acidification, pollution, overfishing, eutrophication, and rapid climate change are some of the many threats marine ecosystems endure simultaneously. All biomarkers for ocean health indicate a biosphere in rapid decline. The time for reformative action is now. The Unknown wishes to revolutionize human consumption. Our products will be made from plastic ocean waste. 10% of each item sold will fund a marine protected area. Each MPA will be represented by an artistically unique collection designed by local artists. Complicity is no longer an individual's choice. Complicity is a part of human existence. We cannot avoid consumption, but we can improve the process of production, allowing consumers the conscious choice of luxury fashion products that directly support marine ecosystems. Without understanding, the future of the oceans is unknown.
Once again, congratulations to The Unknown from Université de Côte d'Azur. Moving on, we will now be getting into our Audience Choice Award, which we asked you to vote for before during the break. And that will be for Best Business Pitch. And we would like to invite Mr. Alberto Vitale from Monaco Impact on stage to present the award. A round of applause, please.
Hello, good evening. So the audience choice is Pogwe Surf.
Now a brief moment for some photos with the lovely gentleman. Beautiful. Thank you again. Congratulations, gentlemen. Excellent job. For our next award, which is the Best Business Plan Award in the student category, we would like to invite on stage Mr. Odun Liedal, forgive me if I butchered that, the CEO of Nansen Polar Expeditions, as well as Ms. Anne-Sophie Roux, the president of the jury and the founder of Tanaka. A round of applause.
So for the best understanding of its customers and the fact of having a prototype ready.
The winner is Pogwe Surf.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again. Congratulations, both of you gentlemen. And I'm going to admit, I'm a bit jealous about that polar expedition you're going to be taking, because that sounds really cool. Beautiful. Moving on to... Thank you. I'm sorry. Moving on, finally, for our best business plan for the professionals and startups category, we would like to invite Mr. Peter Koopman, founder and president of Monaco Impact, as well as Mr. Juan Lorari, who is in investor relations with White Castle Partners, to come and provide the award. Thank you.
The winner of the category 2, motivation, the most direct environmental impact, 100 tons of the problem, and scalability.
And the winner is Aqua Development.
Thank you very much. And once again, congratulations. Excellent job. Each and every team that has participated in the MOPC, whether or not you are here with us today, should be insanely proud of the work that you have done, because it is because of you that the oceans are going to be saved, if you will. You are the future of humanity, is what I'm trying to say. But before we actually finish by closing off this year's MOPC, I would like to invite Mr. Olivier Vanden, the Vice President and Chief Executive Officer of the Prince Albert II Foundation, on stage to give a brief speech. Round of applause.
Last speech before the cocktails. Well, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I would like to thank you all for the ideas, the projects, and the perspectives that we have just been presented. When we talk about the ambition to save the global ocean, we are usually told three things. First, it's an impossible task. Second, we don't know how to act, and that people don't care, except for a few optimistic people. However, today reminded us that solutions exist and that they are more and more efficient. And this is quite a source of optimism to me. So thank you all. Thank you to all participants for the enthusiasm they have shared with us today. Thank you once again to the jury members for their contribution in reinventing a new economic model, a model capable, to quote the words of Prince Albert II of Monaco, of reconciling humanity and the sea. Thank you also to the Oceanographic Institute for welcoming us and for having taken the initiative of this day and this challenge, with which the Prince Albert II of Monaco Foundation is very proud to be associated for the second year in a row. Thank you to all the partners of the event, and in particular to the International University of Monaco and Monaco Impact, of course. Their commitment and their contribution to the MOPC's success since day one are both a guarantee of efficiency as well as of success. Last but not least, thank you to the winners for their inventiveness, their talents, and their optimism. Beyond the remarkable projects that have been presented, which I hope will inspire many more in the future, I want to underline the energy that drives you. This energy is perhaps your most precious asset. Your energy is indeed the engine towards the transition we need to save the global ocean. The ocean needs, of course, new ideas, new talents, such as those we aim to identify and support at the Prince Albert II of Monaco Foundation, and namely through the Young Leader Program, which will be launched end of this year. Because such a transition cannot be led by public authorities alone or NGOs alone. It is a movement that must infuse all aspects in our lives and therefore of our societies and our economies. This is why Prince Albert wished, when he created his foundation, that we established more and more partnerships throughout sectors involving as many actors possible to thrive the development and help protect the ocean. We know that it is within companies and businesses that two essential skills are to be found today: innovation and the ability to respond to people's aspirations in order to offer solutions capable of satisfying their needs without destroying our planet and, of course, our ocean. Solutions that will allow us to improve the lives of current generations without jeopardizing those of future generations. This challenge is therefore in line with this ambition. Just like the Ocean Innovators platform that we have launched all together and many of the jury members this year during the Monaco Ocean Week, a week of meetings, debates, and events that brings together every year in Monaco all the stakeholders, or a lot of stakeholders, involved in ocean conservation, but also scientists, business leaders, and decision makers from around the world. The Ocean Innovators platform aims to foster and support entrepreneurship, innovation, and investment dedicated to the blue economy, but also to promote concrete solutions that generate jobs and profits and that have a positive impact on marine biodiversity. We have three main objectives there: to promote new solutions and approaches, to create links between decision makers, investors, economic actors, and philanthropists, but also to federate a community of economic actors willing to invest in the protection of the oceans. As it's just been said by you, Matthew, we will welcome the MOPC laureate with great pleasure during this Ocean Innovators Platform 2023. And I hope many of you will be able to join us next year, because it is the key to any efficient action for the preservation of the environment, to move forward collectively, whatever the nature or scale of our projects, knowing that no one will succeed alone, but that we have a chance all together to make a big difference. So thank you very much, and congratulations to you all.
Okay, before I let you all go to the hands of the cocktail party, because I know I will very easily lose you to that, I would just like to say a few words from the bottom of my heart. This has been my 4th MOPC. I've been doing this since I moved here in 2018. And at that time, I was just a little boy from America who didn't know anything about anything outside of the borders of the United States. And for that, I would like to thank each and every one of you in the audience, in the jury, in the founding institutions, Mr. Calcagno, Mr. Kootman, Mr. Muller, Mr. Venden, Mr. Gomez, plus my old bosses, Mr. Favier, Ms. Sophie De Lorenzo, Ms. Sylvie Goyer. You have turned what very easily could have been a nightmare into a dream. And for that, there is no way that I could ever repay my thanks. So to each and every one of you in the audience and the judge and the founding partners, thank you all so much. And of course, I will never ever forget the team who put this all together as they sit there wiping the sweat from their brow in the back. Thank you to each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. You have made this an incredible 4-year journey. Thank you. And as I will be parting from IUM next year, this may very well be the last time that you see me. So again, I hope that it's been a good ride for all of you. And again, just thank you. Thank you all so much. And with that said, we would like to invite all of our winners on stage to have a group photo. And afterwards, we will invite all the finalists on stage to do the same. And after that, we will then release you to the cocktail party, where I will be very happily seeing all of you afterwards. Thank you all so much. Congratulations, gentlemen. Congratulations. Very well deserved. Very, very well deserved. And we'll be finishing up in about a second. So all finalists, can you come towards the stage so we can prepare to take a photo with all of you, all of the finalists? Beautiful. Now, can we bring all the finalists on stage, please? Please come on stage. All of you lovely ladies and gentlemen.
Next year.
I hope so. Je vais aller eux. Je vais au deuxième master. After you.
On va mettre une jupe si vous voulez.
Petit versi.
Ah.
And we have our last finalist on screen behind us, all the way from South Korea. I believe it's 1 or 2 in the morning. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. Excellent job. Absolutely excellent. All right.
감사합니다.